Mr. DJ.
Hey, check this out. We got a great show coming your way.
From the ECSI Sports Studios, it's the Midday Market Report with Jeff Dawson.
ECSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all your sports books and track all your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You could also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as it's the best account on the platform. Head to App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire and download the app. Good afternoon, sports fans from all around the globe. I am the host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and it's that time of week for Three Men in the Box NCAA Baseball show with, of course, Matt Grissom and Quentin Mills. Yes, the Masters is going on. Yes, it's the end of the NBA. Thank God. Playoffs are coming, I know. NHL almost there for the playoff season. UConn Huskies, national champs. Thank you very much. Maybe Q Millie will give us some better news, as Matt last week on the Huskies baseball team. Yes, the women's got to the Final Four. Yes, the men's back-to-back champs. Hey, and I got to ask Matt about his new coach. I think he's going to be pretty super stoked there. Maybe he'll keep his season tickets for the Razorbacks for some hoops. Definitely put some fannies in the seats there. But first and foremost, of course, shout out to our proud sponsor in partnership with WagerWire. If you have not downloaded the app, please head on over to Google or wherever you download the apps. It's free. And just get yourself acclimated with it. Scroll to the bottom of the page, see all the available sports books to download in your state. I think there's 37 or 38 states now up and running. So take advantage of the match play, the promos, et cetera, and start window shopping. Why spend $128 on the Red Sox tonight when you can scroll a little to the right and get it for minus 117? And I'm not telling you to play the Red Sox. I mean, with the hurricane winds here and the inches of rain, I assume they'll play tonight, but the East Coast is drenched in rain again. I live in Cape Cod, Mass, not Seattle. Thank you. But anyways, enough of that. And if you're looking to maybe join the WagerWire team, send an email to affiliate at wagerwire.com. Tell them JD from ECSI sent you. Zach, Matt, Travis, Amber, Carol Bucks, Mindy, Mandy, the whole crew, the best in the business. They'll take good care of you. So now we got a first here. We got Matt Grissom in studio, and we got Q Millie warming up for the Daytona 500 as he's trying to get back home for the weekend, but he's blessing us here. So let's bring on the two stars of the show, Matt and Q. Afternoon, gents.
Afternoon, Mr. Dawson.
Can we just all take a moment and just thank Q Millie for his service out there?
Listen, I got to give what the people want. They want winners. They want to see my face. Got to be there when Jeff Dawson calls.
DCFD.
Well, we do thank you for your service, sir, as well. So this is just the other half for Q Millie.
Somebody's got to do it. I figured I'd step up to the plate every once in a while.
So before we dig into bases, I mean, we're at the halfway point. We're heading closer to Omaha conference championship plays, et cetera. Matt, you got a new basketball coach. How you feeling?
We did. I feel good. You know, it's kind of like the second wife theory. He's going to have that passion, that love again that he may have lost at Kentucky. That's a hard program to coach for, you know, being a blue blood of college basketball, a lot of expectations. Sometimes sometimes over expectations. I feel like because at the end of the day, his biggest mo was he was a hell of a recruiter and had a lot of youth on his team, so they could beat somebody by 40 points one week and then turn around and lose by 40 to somebody that they had no business losing to. So I feel like it's a good. He's definitely going to have a more relaxed atmosphere to coach in, and outside of our roster only having one player right now, shout out Lawson Blake for the only player that stuck around. I think his viral video of saying, "I met the team. There is no team, so we're gonna have to rebuild this." That's yeah. There's what we're dealing with right now. So I feel like here in the next couple of days, we're gonna start seeing some recruits come in.
I loved the video. That was so awesome. He's like, "Yeah, I met with the team. There is no team," and so 5-year deal. Arkansas considered one of the deepest pockets teams, meaning NIL money, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The thoughts of the team. I mean, you're not expecting SEC champs first year. You're going to give him some time here, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I feel like goal number one. I feel like always is just get to the tournament, and then who knows what you can do with the talent. But again, I hate to cop out and say we don't have a team yet, so I don't really know what the expectations are going to be. But if we get, I think Carter Knox and a couple other 5-stars that were committed to Kentucky, who knows what could happen? Hogs could be primed for a deep run in the tournament, or they could lose the first weekend. We'll see.
Is there any word on the street? Is he going to come into Arkansas with that same mentality? In other words, the one and done, I'm going for the best. If they stick and stay for a second year, God bless them. But I'm going after the best here.
Yeah, and I feel like with the NIL and just the way that transfers are in the portal now, he realizes that he can't just hang his hat on getting these freshmen. He said it in the interview. It has to be a good mix of, juniors and seniors that are in the portal, going and getting those guys and then pairing them with some really talented youth. And I feel like I think he's got $5 million in NIL earnings that he has at his disposal, thanks to John Tyson. Go buy you some chicken nuggets. There's a lot of money up in Northwest Arkansas. I don't know if people realize there's like 5 Forbes Fortune 500 companies up there between Walmart, Tyson, JB Hunt, Dillard's. I know I'm forgetting another one too, but
College Baseball Insiders.
Yeah, College Baseball Insiders. But yeah, there's a lot to be excited for.
Going back to UConn, Hurley comes in, and it took some time. He came from the AAC, obviously, back to the Big East. That video that went viral after the Villanova loss, you better get us now because we're coming. And the reason I bring it up is last year's championship team lost 5 of the 8 players from the team and 3 to the NBA, Hawkins, Sonogo, and Andre Jackson. And I thought one of the biggest pickups for Danny this year was Cam Spencer, a graduate senior. So when Kentucky bowed out in the first round to Oakland, they're saying, Cal, it's not working. Your team's too young. You need some juniors and seniors. You need some of the 24, 25-year-olds. You can't be running out 18 and 19-year-olds.
Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of what basketball is right now. You're with the transfer portal. I mean, realistically, you have a chance to have a whole new team year in and year out. And it's all about clicking. Like, I thought coming in, Eric Musselman had a really solid team, but it didn't pan out. And there were guys, Khalif Battle was really good. Tremont Mark had games of, where he looked like he was taking the next step forward. But I don't know. I mean, until you field the team and you see where they're going to be and what their role is going to be, I feel like it's way too early to even try to speculate on what success looks like.
Q, you're doing a hell of a job. Thank you there. Your timeline's been kind of hard. Give us what the hell's going on in Florida.
Yeah, I'm out there in the trenches taking grenades, and my partner's throwing some. It's a little friendly fire, but it's all in good love. It's tough. Matt and I, we talk a lot, obviously, daily behind the scenes, and I think it's fair to say that we still refuse to believe that the Florida Gators are as bad as they are. Now, to say that they haven't regressed from last year would be a lie. To say coming into this year that there might have been slight concerns of losing guys like BT Riopel, Josh Rivera, Wyatt Langford, not only from a production standpoint, but a leadership standpoint. There's still a lot of talent on this team. I mean, Jack Caglianone's there. Colby Shelton's there. Cade Curlin and Luke Heyman, stud sophomores. Like, the talent is there. And so there's no reason why they're not winning these games. The freshmen, the freshman pitching over the last 5 weeks, you could just see the growth play out literally in front of your eyes. And the problem is while the freshmen were struggling, the offense was firing on all cylinders. But at some point, you can't score 13 runs every game, and they were taking losses. Well, now the pitching matchups, the pitching is starting to find its form. Those young guys aren't freshmen necessarily anymore. They've got 6-7 starts under their belt, a few in the SEC, but now the offense has died off. So Florida has the talent on both sides. I get they're young on the pitching, but the talent's there. We see it. The offense is there with some veteran guys. If they can just find a way to get in rhythm at the same time, they're one of the best teams in the country. I mean, they were one of the few teams to actually beat A&M 2 out of 3 this year. And, I know Mississippi State looks pretty good. Now, I know they had, maybe a little luck in there, but baseball, there's luck. If you want to win a national title, you can't do it strictly off of skill and dominance. So they've beaten good teams, to go into LSU, which is a rough place to play. Now, obviously, they're down, but they're still a talented SEC team. You can see the Gators have the ability to win. They just aren't figuring it out and how to do it in unison with the pitching and the offense. But I think this weekend, I wouldn't say I'm as confident as I've been at any point in the season. But I think being at home, Smitty and I last week used the term life support. There's several teams like the Gators, South Carolina. Wake Forest was there at one point, TCU, Texas Tech, to name a few. Florida or South Carolina is going to die. The other team is going to survive and figure things out. And I think the advantage goes to the Gators getting to have that moment in, your home facility at Contra Ballpark. I think they have the talent to beat South Carolina, and I think they get it done 2-1 in the series.
Speaking of A&M, looking at the there we go. Here comes the wind again, guys. I see A&M creeping up to Arkansas. Give us the temperature on the Razorbacks? Still number 1 in the country, still the favorite to win it all. But some teams look like they're inching a little closer back.
Yeah, I mean, Clemson's another one you could look at. And A&M, yeah, their non-conference strength of schedule is ranked 129th. They're 52nd in overall strength of schedule. 29-4 looks good on paper. I'm still not completely sold. I do feel like their stats have been overinflated due to just some blowout wins. They're sitting at 3-3 in quad 1 wins. Meanwhile, you've got Arkansas at 6-3. It's going to come out eventually, and Arkansas is going to drop a series. A&M is going to drop a series. Clemson's going to drop a series. I don't know until the end of May, when you feel like you now have a good idea of what teams are clicking on all cylinders. I think it's still too early to really get caught up in who's 1, who's 4, who's 3. Tennessee's kind of another team that once they get Billy Amick back in that lineup, they get A.J. Russell back, another arm. Tennessee's just as dangerous as any of them. And I feel like you could really say that about 8 teams right now. Just some are playing out of their minds, like take Kentucky, for instance. They're sitting at 11-1 or 12-1 after last night's win over Auburn. I mean, who would have thought the Kentucky Wildcats would be up there at the top of the SEC? Because I didn't. But again, they haven't really beaten a whole lot of great competition. So I feel like they're going to come back down to earth. But to go back to A&M, they've got a tough series this weekend. I feel like it should be good. And I just went blank on who they play. They play Vanderbilt, a number 6 versus number 3 matchup. If Vandy comes in there and at College Station and wins this series, I'm gonna not be surprised because I think A&M needed to come back down to earth. But on the flip side, if A&M sweeps Vandy, I'm gonna say, all right, this A&M team is legit.
Q, give us the ACC report.
Yeah, Clemson's playing NC State. NC State's lost 4 straight. You know, I think they were one of those teams. I kind of mentioned Georgia Tech the other week, and I think we're in the same area. I wasn't as high on NC State as maybe other people. I think they started preseason 12 or 13. I thought that was a little high. I think we're starting to see the real team here. You know, their pitching staff, I think they've got guys that have been there 9.5 years, it seems like. But they really haven't turned themselves into all-stars. And offensively, you know, they lost Kozart. They gained a couple guys like Makarevich from ECU. But I don't know. There's just something about this team. I don't think they pan out. And I think we're starting to see them kind of come back down to earth now that they're playing some quality ACC teams. So, yeah, Clemson's going to drop a series. I just don't think it's going to be at home against NC State. You know, another team that I think needs to kind of come back down to earth a little bit. I think Louisville hosting UVA is kind of in for a rude awakening. I believe they've won their last 2 series. They swept NC State last week at home. I think UVA starting Evan Blanco and then coming in to Saturday with Kevin Jackson and then Sunday being a TBA. UVA, I think, is one of the more powerhouse teams, and they have the ability to win on the road and at home, and that's tough. A lot of teams can only win at home in their environment, but UVA, it's almost like it doesn't phase them. They look to playing teams that are hot. They look to play the better teams, and they dominate. You know, I hit them last week against North Carolina. It was a slugfest in just about every game, but that's what UVA is able to do. They're able to pitch enough to win the games, but they also have an offense that's better than last year's team that went to Omaha. So that's a series I think UVA can handle. I think Clemson will be okay. North Carolina, you know, Wake Forest should be fine. North Carolina's playing at home. Wake Forest is playing a brutal Boston College team. Wake Forest, I think they have 20-something mile-an-hour winds into the stadium, and then you add Chase Burns to that. I mean, I don't think any balls are going to get out of that park by the Eagles there. You know, trying to think what other major series. Notre Dame's playing UNC. Notre Dame can play well at home. I think they benefit from playing in the colder temperatures. And then Miami and Florida State, it's a rivalry. Last night was a back-and-forth game. Florida State eventually is going to drop a series. I just don't know if it's against the Hurricanes. Again, that's a team that Miami plays really well at home, but they struggle on the road. So I think Florida State can get it done. Other than that, Duke's already been postponed. But I'll tell you, man, Pitt can be a weird place to play. It's not the greatest stadium. I don't know if that just kind of people sleepwalk through. But remember, they took the game last year. Game 1 against Wake Forest, and then obviously Wake Forest woke up and battered them in the next 2. But Duke has kind of struggled. Santucci's had his last 2 or 3 starts kind of iffy. I don't know what's going on with him. Usually a good starter has one bad start and can pick it up, but he's kind of had a couple here and there that just have not been himself, and Pitt's kind of pesky. So I wouldn't be surprised if Pitt could get 1 and maybe somehow sneak 2. You know, if Missouri can sweep Florida, nothing's out of the cards here for the weekend.
Great breakdown analysis. Matt, I usually send it right back to you asking about out west, but I wanted to tiptoe into the Big 12. I haven't asked you a lot about the Big 12. Anyone surprising you in the Big 12? And then give us what's going on out west as well.
I feel like the Big 12 is kind of the conference of letdowns. TCU and Texas Tech they're playing in a series this weekend that I feel like is going to tell us a lot about who's going to come out of that Big 12. UCF is kind of looks surprising here. I think they got swept their first series in the Big 12, but then to have turned it on here lately, led by their Friday night guy, Ben Vespi. I another guy, Reese Dutton in Kansas, and shout out to Cameron in our preseason betting guide. He actually gave out Kansas as his kind of like underdog dark horse that could make some noise, and Kansas has looked pretty decent. I mean, they're probably not going to win the Big 12, but at least they're remaining relevant. And Dutton, he's up there with all the Friday night guys that you want to back. As far as out west, I'm really excited because USC and Oregon play in what will probably end up being the second place spot in the Pac-12 for its last year. Oregon State is far and away the best team in the Pac-12, even though they are kind of neck and neck with Oregon and USC in conference play as far as the record goes. But that should be a good series too. Caden Aoki's going tonight against RJ Gordon for Oregon. Get like plus 150, 155 on USC. I feel like it's worth a look.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't last year the Ducks come out of nowhere and had an early run in the tournament with the like high scoring games? Correct.
Yeah, they did really well. They were in that same, like what Oral Roberts. It came down to them and Oral Roberts both came out of. I think Oregon came out of the Nashville Regional, beating Vanderbilt, if my memory serves me correctly.
Yeah, I believe you're
and
right.
Then ORU got the best of them. But, yeah, Oregon's a fun team. I feel like they've returned a lot. They did lose some guys on the mound, but as far as just overall, they're a fun team to bet on. That Pac-12 after dark that you get in football, you get it in baseball too. Good luck finding the games on that crappy Pac-12 network. What?
That's a tough place to play. It's low key. It doesn't seem like Oregon baseball is a hostile place, but I mean they're loud and proud, and there's just some about that stadium. It just you could see it rattled Oral Roberts last year. Now Oral Roberts was able to win, but you could tell it affected them, and that's kudos to the Ducks fans for making that atmosphere what it was.
Before we get into the games this weekend, any one of you two, some teams that you might want to add to your portfolio and a couple of teams maybe that you want to start fading?
I feel like you could fade everybody from the Big 12 right now. I would be buying into any of them. As far as the Pac-12, really, I feel like it's Oregon State's to lose. Sticking to the better conferences in ACC, SEC. I'm still high on this North Carolina team. They're 20-0 at home, so that's a lot of their success is going to be dependent on getting home games. Which I mean, right now I think they're primed to be able to be a regional host, maybe not super regional. They should sweep Notre Dame this weekend, although there is an interesting development. Folger Boaz, who had been their Friday night guy, he's not listed in the lineup. Friday night starter is going to be Jason DeCaro. He's going to be opposite of Matt Bedford for Notre Dame. And Shea Sprague's getting the start tomorrow versus Jack Radel. And Sunday is TBA. So that's kind of big because Boaz has been a Friday night guy that you want to back more oftentimes than not.
Are they pushing him to Saturday?
No, he's not listed. It's DeCaro, Sprague, and then TBA. So he may go Sunday, but I don't know.
I don't think there's a huge drop-off between Boaz and DeCaro. I thought DeCaro's pitched pretty well for the most part this season. I mean, in consideration to you're playing Notre Dame at home.
Well, it's about that time, a little overtime actually here. Matt, actually, Q, I'll lead off with you. Any plays in the pocket, any lanes for the weekend, any big plays tonight?
Yeah, I like UVA again. I know they're on the road at Louisville. I just like, I know Gondola is, or however you say his name, is pitching for Louisville, but Evan Blanco is far and away the best starter UVA has. He matches up Friday night. That offense is just so hard to contain. I don't know if Louisville can do it. And then furthermore, I don't know if Louisville can hang in a shootout with UVA and go, punch for punch. I like Wake. I had a play last night. I had Georgia last night and then Wake Forest in play today. So that's still live. The over, I'm going to book it as soon as I get off here. The over in the Georgia-Missouri game is 14. I think that trend, they hit 25 runs last night, neither team has great pitching. They should be able to smoke each other. I'm sure Charlie Kannon will hit another 2 or 3 home runs today. It seems to be his normal now. So I like that. I like West Virginia. I know it's probably not a popular pick, but Aiden Major at home has pitched really well this season. UCF has done really well, it's their first year in the Big 12 for baseball. The series they've lost in the Big 12 was on the road. I believe they got swept. I think they lose the series to the Mountaineers. It's going to be a little chilly there in Morgantown tonight. A little bit of rain's passing through, breezy. I like them to get tonight. And then another kind of sleeper team that started to kind of put it together. They had a rough last year after their 2022 finalist appearance. The Oklahoma Sooners are playing really good baseball right now. Braden Davis is going to be on the mound for Oklahoma against Winthrop, I believe, for Kansas State. Kansas State's a hit-or-miss team. There's games that they should win, they don't, and there's games they shouldn't win that they do. I think what hurts them is they're playing on the road. Oklahoma's starting to find their stride a little bit. I like Oklahoma today as a single play. And then I've got a few parlays off the top of my head I can't remember, and I got to drive responsibly and safe, so I can't look them up. But I do have a couple parlays to play.
No, you drive responsibly here, okay?
I took Texas A&M. They were minus 175 here in Arkansas. I feel like you could play that up to minus 200. I think with Ryan Prager, it's going to be a good pitching matchup with Bryce Cunningham going oppo, but I feel like A&M gets Friday night win. I parlayed Duke, Wake Forest. Wake just went off, and then Duke got pushed to tomorrow. They're going to play a doubleheader, so that's likely going to cancel. Parlayed Arkansas Clemson based on the information that I've been given. Aiden Knack was supposed to start for Clemson. I loved that, but now after the announcement of Sam Heifel going against Matthew Marshall, he is the projections were a little bit more leaning towards NC State. Clemson's still favored. I think it dropped from like 78% to 54% though in win probability. So I went ahead, instead of cashing out, losing about 12% of my bet, which is just terrible. Don't even get me started on cash out options. But I just grabbed NC State plus 1.5. It was minus 105. I feel like if they can keep it tight, low scoring, hats off. Congrats. I've middled and won both sides. And then one system play it really likes, and I like Iowa, but you don't get Brody Breck tonight. He's going tomorrow. You get Cade Obermueller going against somebody for Ohio State. I can't remember off the top of my head, but the projections really liked Ohio State in this one. The pitcher that's starting for Ohio State has played really well, and you can get Ohio State at even money. So it's not my play. It's a system play. If the projections hold up here, we're hitting at like a 64, 65% clip. So I feel like you can lean into that when you just really want to play. But the projections had Ohio State up to like 80% win probability.
And you can get them at plus 105 or even tonight?
Yes.
I will be keeping my eye on that one for sure. The scroller's been going the whole time. Obviously, they can see right here on Twitter. They can follow Matt at Grissom on X, Q Millie at Q Millie, 3 L's, 2 Y's. Of course, both of you guys on the NCAA Insiders. Saw your show last night. Awesome as always. But as we like to do, close up here, I throw you a nice curveball. You can tell everyone watching here, standing room only again, where they can find all your work, Matt.
Check out our new site. It's collegebaseballinsiders.com. You can do the matchup previews. All you need to know is who's playing and who the starting pitcher is. I posted a video on our Twitter at Grissom on X and at NCAA Insiders. You can go literally in 30 seconds. You can go to the website, click on the matchup preview, punch in your teams, punch in the starting pitcher, and it's going to give you a win probability, which is, again, hitting at a 64 or 65% clip right now. It's just a good tool to really get to look at both pitchers and the team pitching and hitting, and give yourself a better idea of like peel back the stats that everybody knows, home runs, ERA, batting average. and look deeper into the weighted runs created, XFIP, Sierra for pitchers. So we feel like it's pretty invaluable at this point because nobody else is doing anything like it.
Q.
Yeah, like Matt said, check the website out. One thing you didn't mention is all of our guides that we create, whether it's a preseason for this season or postseason for last year. Go check them out. We're going to obviously have postseason guides this year. So if you're kind of new to us and you haven't had the time to check them out, go see what it is. It's going to be very similar this year. I'm sure we'll have, a little bit more to offer. But yeah, check out the website, and then do us a favor. If you're new to us, you like to follow us, go ahead and like and subscribe to our YouTube. We love having the subscription. Those are what truly matters. And then obviously, interact with us, whether you're on our show, on Twitter, follow us, tweet at us. We're pretty good about getting back to people and, and having conversations. So if you like what you see, join along and win some bets.
And an amazing double header here as you guys go live on Thursday nights, and then we get the Thursday night recap, and then obviously the Friday night lights and the weekend thoughts here on our second year here, obviously with 3 Men in the Box. So can't thank you guys enough. Great driving job, Q. Can't thank you enough for coming on today. And as always, be safe, enjoy yourselves, and we'll circle the wagons again next week. Right, gentlemen?
Yes, sir.
Sounds good.
From myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Invest, from Matt Grissom at Grissom on X, from Q Millie with 3 L's, 2 Y's, and of course the NCAA Insiders. We thank you all for watching. Go follow them on their YouTube page. While you're over there, come follow us here at East Coast Sports Investors as well. At 4 o'clock, myself and Riley Magnuson will join and end the week with the closing bell. We'll get you ready for some Masters updates, some MLB, NHL talk, and Riley will do some NBA as well. So thank everyone so much here. Q, drive safely, and we will see you soon.